Hi everybody, happy Saturday. My name is Maria. So I have a channel out on YouTube called Vogue Knitting and Crochet, and I have another one called Flower Species channel, and you're welcome to join me there. I'm going to be doing some just little summertime crafting, and these crafts started, or I've got several things going, and they started over the quarantine time period, and I really do believe a lot of people will be quarantining again more than we maybe realize, because now that we open, there will be many people that will have to be tested every 2 weeks where they work, and in order for that to happen, there will be people that will be testing positive and then have to isolate again. So probably that's probably not why we're hearing too much about lockdown as much. Things are loosening up a little bit still with the social distancing, the mask, wash your hands, wash your surfaces, less people, stagger people, but I really just believe the way this is opening up, there's going to be sets of people over and over again that are going to have to quarantine as they get tested that have never been tested. Or maybe they've been negative, but now they suddenly have a symptom, they're going to get tested. The likelihood of doing that many tests is that people are going to come up positive. So no matter what test you use, that's 50% or 38% wrong, there's going to be some that are going to come up positive. And people have to medically mandated isolate, which is totally different than just go quarantine until your fever goes away. When you're positive, the health department knows. Now, the way the health department knows what you're doing, or not the health department, but the way contact tracing goes is through your phone. And if you didn't notice because it was so major quick, Google and Apple and Bill Gates got together and created a software update for contact tracing. And you can go look at it, your update that you did. You usually can uninstall an update. You cannot uninstall this. It's like a virus, and it's so quick. Usually, when you're updating your phone, you get an update. It takes a little while, and you see it buffering, and it's like, oh, I'm updating. Wait a minute. The minute you click this, it's like, bam! It just acts like a Trojan virus. It just quick, and it will say thank you for. It will say it was a COVID update. You can put your phone on airplane, they still can see where you're going. So if you're in a huge crowd right now protesting, which is fine to be protesting, peacefully protesting, gathering in solidarity, they can see that you're in a big crowd. Eventually, they'll be able to see if you're too close to a person. So that's why they're not like saying, okay, everybody's got to be 6 feet apart or 18 feet apart or 12 feet apart or an arm's length apart. They're not doing it now because they'll be able to go back and see. If you've been going out to get groceries more than you need to be, you're out all the time and you're not an essential worker, and maybe you were near somebody who tests positive, your phone will show them that. So I've already tested this because I was in the Get Well COVID loop, and you can actually put your phone on airplane and it will still text you, and you'll still get a phone call if you were. So yeah, there's that. I want to protest that, right? And Black Lives Matters and a million other things that are going on right now. But a lot of people, they really can't go protest. They're of an age that they don't feel comfortable out there, or maybe their mobility is such, or they have health concerns that they just don't feel comfortable even standing with a sign. And you want to just do something relaxing at home. So I have been since February working on what I'm just calling, I get it right so you can see it, Hearts Knit Together in Love blocks. lighting just right. So these are hearts over hearts. I'll hold it still, then you can see it. And you can see that there's 3 hearts crossed, kind of in the corner where the lighting is. I'm going to get one that doesn't have too much of a crease in it. Maybe this one. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so a little bit of a crease there. So it's 3 hearts across and 7 hearts down. And I'm working on my 6th soft pink block. And these all start with doing a crochet cast on. And I will show you how to do that. And then knitting across for 4 rows. And that's your setup foundation after you cast on. And then you do this for, you do a 10-row repeat. That's upside down hearts. You do a 10-row repeat and you've got your heart. But it will look sort of like an upside down pyramid or triangle. It'll be flat till you get to row 1. So you'll do your cast on, knit your 4 rows, and row 1 is actually the beginning of these little what I want to say, what goes into the cupid of the arches of the heart. Your eyelets will be a yarn over and a knit and a yarn over and knit 3, which gives you these little eyelets that make the cupid bow in the arches. But when you get to here, it will look flat. So when you first look at the first, like when you get to row 10, you'll be like, why am I making a bunch of pyramids? And then if you look at it sideways, it looks like diamonds. So it's kind of an optical illusion. That's because it's hearts overlapping hearts, and row 1 goes into the next heart, and then you grow your arches. And then, of course, you'll see them better when you wash and block them. So these are pretty big squares. I found this pattern on allfreeknitting.com, and it was a Vogue knitting pattern that a gal by the name of Maria Jane adapted from Vogue Knitting. Hearts and Diamonds lace from Vogue Knitting, which you could just, that's backwards, you could just knit a whole big blanket. You don't have to do blocks and assemble them, or you could just do a big runner. You can use any kind of yarn. These are upside down. It's with me today. Or you can, I'll get it right. So you can see these are good sized blocks. So this is no way going to be a baby blanket. Been there, done that, made blankets that were way too big. But the pattern that Maria Jane made is called Sweetheart Baby Blanket. And she used royal purple. She used a royal purple DK yarn and a silver, which looks absolutely awesome. And she used a DK like 3 yarn and much smaller needles than I'm using. And the yarn she used is Debbie's Bliss Cashmerino wool. And I don't work with wool, so I went with 4 worsted weight yarn. And you can use any yarn to make this. You can do a thick yarn and make pillowcase coverings, like a Brene home decoration yarn, a t-shirt yarn. You can use macrame yarn, really thin. I'm working on a curtain panel for my bathroom that will just look really pretty by my shower. And I'm using home deck, and then I am making a tablecloth runner with 0 to 1 mercurized lace, Aunt Lydia's, and also red heart. So you can do anything you want with this pattern by just adding on 37 more stitches. A multiple of 37. So 37 plus 37 plus 37 gives you 3 hearts. 37. And you can keep going as long as you want, as long as you remember to do row 1 through 3 and end on row 3. So this is 7 repeats, so it's 10 row repeat, so it's 70 rows plus 1 through 3, so 73 rows. You end on row 3, and then you do 4 rows of knitting again, and then you bind off. So I'm going to show you the basics of how to make this block, and I'm using Mainstay basic yarn, and this is the ball band. I got it at the Church of Walmart. Mainstay basic yarn, and this color is soft pink, and I really love Mainstay because they're true to their color. This one, and you get a lot of yarn, and it acts like a high-end yarn when it's a value yarn. This was $1.97. You would not know this yarn is $1.97. This is also Mainstay, and it's soft pewter. So I'm going to do 6 in soft pink and 6 in pewter, and make it a neutral kind of blanket. And I don't know who I'm going to gift it to, or if I might keep it myself. But if you wanted to make a baby blanket, you would use you would do less, use a smaller needle, and use a 3 instead of a 4, or even like a 2, 3, like a baby yarn, like something like a mandala yarn if you didn't want to work with wool. My big thing is I don't work with wool, so anything comparable, and they have a bunch of substitutes. And I think what I liked about that Debbie's Bliss merino wool is it had a little bit of mercurization in it, which gives it that strengthening and shine that sometimes really lacy, thin yarns, have that sheen look, which is really nice. There is a right side and a wrong side, which is why I'm double checking here. Upside down again. The right side is the knitted stitches that you see going down in V's. And the wrong side is kind of bumpy. Okay, so it's 37 stitches plus 3 on each side, so it's 43 that you're going to cast on. For all of these blocks, you're going to slip the first stitch as if to purl right to left with the yarn in front, in the front of the bar, and just slip your stitch off, and then count it as a knit and put your yarn in the back and knit your 3 side stitches. This pattern has 10 rows. 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. The odd rows are what we call action rows in this pattern because they have all the special stitches that make the movement and the shape of the hearts. And then row 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10, you're just purling, and we call those stabilization rows, which kind of gather up all those yarn overs that are always in lace work and SKPs, SK2Ps, knit 2 together, knit 4 together. Those are your special stitches. So I want to show how to do one of those heart blocks today and how to do the cast on, and then just share a couple of other really sweet patterns if you want to get some summer knitting done. Crank up your AC, turn on your fan, or go outside. This is this is All Free Knitting, Maria Jane, and it's adapted from Vogue Free Knitting. Sweetheart baby blanket. You can do anything you want with it. And you single crochet them together, and then you do a shell stitch all the way around, which I'll show you later. This is I love ripple blankets. I love chevron ripple blankets. They say home to me. I think everybody needs a chevron ripple blanket on the back of their couch or a chair or on the foot of their bed or something. So I'm making this for a male in my life. I was looking for a pattern that was fairly substantial and texturized looking, and then just going to play with what my colors would be. And I always find beautiful patterns at mamastitcheryprojects.com. Heather Tucker is the originator she designs all of her patterns, and she teaches all of us beautifully, and we lovingly call Heather Mama. I did her Vans and Pansy ripple blanket. I made that for my daughter and son-in-law for their wedding gift. It was part of their wedding gift. I just wanted them to have like an heirloom something from me, and just a little heirloom piece. And that was very lazy, and it was very fun to do. And thank you, Mama. Get on over and look at Vans and Pansy ripple blanket at Mama's Stitchery Project. It's just beautiful, and you can really have fun with it with the different kind of yarn you can use. So I did an extra large, and that one came out very lacy. Then I found this for my son, and I wanted something that was texturized and said mail to me. And you could just do a regular chevron or a regular ripple, but I loved this. This is called Double Post Shell Ripple Blanket. And I wasn't sure, after I picked it out, I started working, and I wasn't sure. I thought, oh, that might be too much texture, and, it might bug anybody to have this on them, right? But as I was working it up, I was like, oh my goodness. It's not going to be on them and I was really worried about that. I was like, the thing that drew me to it was the texture, but then I was like, ooh, that would be on your skin, and, ooh. But no, this is the part that's decorative, that hangs off your bed, your whatever, right? And it's reversible, which I really love about this. Thank you, Mama. It's completely smooth on this side. Completely. There's no wrong side to it. And soft and smooth. So this is the part that goes on your body. So I just think it's a really nice statement piece with substance. And if you have that male in your life, and they have small ones. She has extra small, which are really good for Afghans if you're doing any crochet or knitting for hospices, nursing homes, people in wheelchairs, dialysis, or just people that are that have to maybe be in a recliner doing a treatment like infusions or chemo or whatever. The extra smalls work really good as baby blankets in all of her patterns. And they're perfect, I believe, perfect dimension because for like a wheelchair, because you don't want to get too long because you don't want it to get caught in the wheels. And so she has those too. And all different sizes. And what I love about Mama's Stitchery Project is she has knitting and crochet. And she has created a few techniques that are they're genius. For if you're working with a boucle yarn and those curly kind of bunchy yarns that sometimes can be hard to get into that first chain. She has created the chainless foundation blankets. And I use her chainless foundation for when I'm doing lace work. Sometimes for boucle and for lace work, sometimes when you're working with a 0 to 1 lace, it's really hard to get into that first row of chain. And if you don't set up that first row of chains, the rest of it doesn't work. So she's got a YouTube channel with all of her samples for special stitches, and she does little samples of her blankets for some of them, and techniques. I believe she's on Instagram and Pinterest. She is on Facebook under mamastitcheryprojects.com, and her website is beautiful. Thank you so much. I was able to make gifts for people. I think the only thing, excuse me, that she has said is if you use her patterns, credit her. And make sure to do some gifting and some charity knitting and crocheting. And I do. I crochet and knit for a hospice that's right down the street from us, and another one, and a dialysis unit. So, you know, just make sure to do a little bit of, even if she has hats there too, and I make those for people, and just, there's a lot of things. Scarves, she's got everything there. So, mamastitcheryprojects.com for this one. And you don't have to switch colors. I will tell you what I'm using is white, and it's a value yarn, $6.99 for a jumbo 10.5 ounce, and charcoal. What's it called? Soft charcoal heather gray, and this is soft charcoal heather gray. Nope, I'm gonna find it. Got it, I think. Let's see, medium gray heather. Can you see it? Do I have it backwards? My viewfinder is, I can't see if it's medium gray heather. Right on again. Number 10005. And it is a 4. I swear this yarn is fantastic. So Red Heart, Super Saver, 10.5 ounces, $6.99. Mainstay Basic Yarn, 10.5 ounces, $1.97. Red Heart Super Saver, I'm not saying this to be mean or anything, but their Super Saver has become very irregular lately. And if you try to get a charcoal gray in Red Heart right now, it's up to $19.99 for a skein at Walmart, because everyone's been crafting. So I try to work with, when I'm gifting somebody, I try to work with value yarns and then sup in an accessory yarn that is a more higher end yarn that will go towards charity. So the one I choose to always sup in, if you're going to do a bunch of different, say you've got a stash, you're going to bust up your stash, just keep it all the same weight and really test it. Even some, the blanket I made my daughter and son-in-law, they were all Red Heart Super Saver. One was soft white and one was white, and the soft white one was thinner than a 4, even though it said it was a 4 medium. So that made it look a little more lacy and bigger than I wanted it to get. So check your weights, because even the same brand, same everything, just a different color can be a little irregular. I've not found Mainstay Basic Yarn to be irregular at all. It doesn't go from a 4 to a 3 to a 2 to a 1 back down to a 4. You won't find snarl in it. You won't. And it doesn't split. It just doesn't. So I chose Dusty Blue, a 4, lionbrand.com, Vanna's Choice, acrylic, and 3.5 ounces, and you get a package of 3. And I thought the Dusty Blue would go really good, but I like it because when you buy the little bit more of a high end, they give some to St. Jude's Research Hospital. 1.5 million a year goes to St. Jude's. So even if you have to use value yarn because it can get expensive, if you just sup in a stripe or two of here and there of a higher end, it just makes you feel good like you did something for someone else too. So what I went with, if you want to follow this color change, I guess, is I did 10 rows of medium heather gray mainstay, and then 5 rows of Super Saver white, and 3 rows of Vanna's Choice Lion Brand yarn, Dusty Blue. And then this will be 5 again. And then what I hope to do is once I grow it, after a little while, I will change to, I have to think of how to do this. It will go 10, 5, 3 in the middle, and then grow it back out again because I want it to have a geometrical switch where it's going out and then in. That should be fun. So that's what I'm working on there. And then just a few hats I'll show you that I made if you want to get the patterns. I was looking for a summer beach hat, which I'm always loving to do hats. And I found a really fun pattern. This took me 1 hour to make, and if you love to crochet, get over there and get it. It's all free crochet. I found what was called the silver gray. If you Google this, silver gray beach beanie. This is not gray or silver. It's Karen Simply Soft Value Yarn, which is $3.98 for 5.5 ounces. Orchid, and it has that mercurization I was talking about in it. I fell in love with this. I got this. When you go to All Free Crochet, it will direct you to Salty Pearl Crochet and knit, saltypearl.com, I think it's called, by Katie. And she's out there everywhere, Instagram, Ravelry, Facebook. Thank you, Katie. I love this. Now, I thought, I got a little worried when I got to her website. It said men's gray beach beanie. Well, she made this for the man in her life. She designed it because she was looking at caps to wear to the beach in the summertime, and they just didn't speak to her. So she designed her own. And then she made one for her little man, her son, and they look great. But they're unisex. Anyone can wear these. I have what's called a Victorian size hat size. I'm 19.5 inches, so I made the little child size, and with this one I would probably make myself the adult size if I had to do it over again. But once I block it and everything, it's gonna fit just fine. I haven't washed them, but so many cool stitches are in here. Start with got it backwards. Start with, isn't that texture cool? You start with a magic circle, which I'll show you how to do. And I'll show you a few ways to do magic circle too. And then you grow the crown, of course, with your double crochets, and it's all very simple. And then she starts doing some ridge work by working the third loop, which a lot of people are not aware of. And once you find the third loop, it's easy. You would think, well, ridge work, you could just do the back loop, front loop, back loop. You could, but the third loop gives much more texture, and it's fun because it raises up really nice. And so you do some ridge work, working the third loop, doing half double crochets, and then you do this really beautiful stitch I've never heard of called the lemon peel stitch. And then I can't remember what she had us do here. I think these were single crochets. I can't remember. I'm looking at it. I think it was like single, double, and then more ridge work. And then star stitches, and then more ridge work for the brim. So I'll try them on. I'll get hat hair, but it'll be okay. To show you. Okay. So I gotta fasten my edges still and wash and tidy it up. But I think it's a really cute beach hat. And again, I would make the larger one for myself because I want more of a marley, but I wasn't sure because I really am a 19.5 child size. But I think that's just so cool. So Katie, saltypearl.com, gray beach beanie. Thank you so much. This was so much fun to make. I can't even begin to tell you. The stitches change up constantly, and 1 hour. 1 hour, and it looks like you did so much, and it's her directions are perfect, everything's easy, and it's nice. Okay. I'm off to watch that today. And then from her website, I saw her featured websites, which, you know, we all do. We send people to blogs we like and stuff. And there was Pink Paloma Maui, Tanya's website with some free patterns, and she was standing on a beach wearing a beret. And it was getting near April, and I was thinking raspberry beret. I didn't have any purple on me. I was out of my purple, and it was calling for a chunky 5. And I had Premier Puzzle yarn, chunky 5 in jacquard. And this is a chunky 5 Premier Puzzle. This is how it worked out. Now, because I did a child size in Katie's pattern, and it was a little snug, I thought I better do the adult size. It's a little big. So I'm going to rip out, and just all you really have to do is not do as many through here. All you need to know how to do is double crochet and single crochet, and you can do this. I know it looks funny at first. Looks like I'm wearing a shower cap, but I'm not. You just got to kind of zhuzh it, play with it. There you go. Okay, so if you had a regular size, if you had a 21 to 22 or a 22 and a half or even a 23, this would work fine. For me, it's a little too big, I feel like, but not really. It's kind of cute. But I mean, what an awesome array, right? I need to get some purple. Obviously, you do know it's Prince's birthday tomorrow, which is why I'm wearing paisley. Thank you to my cousin Michelle. These are paisley pajamas. Like 2 Easters ago, we went to her house for dinner, and she was clearing out her clothes. Was it Easter or Thanksgiving? I don't know. I got there, and she sells Mary Kay. She's really sweet, and she's always got, I'm getting rid of some of my Mary Kay. I'm starting to like go look, see what you want, you know. And I'm redoing my closets before I bring it all to the thrift and the good shop. Go see if anything fits you. And I was like, Paisley, grabbed it. Thank you. I love these. They're very comfy on a hot day. All right, so this hat here is really, I'm taking it apart. But I found this pattern at Drops Design. Free pattern. Does not say who made the pattern, just Drops Design. There's no name for it, and they want people to test it and name it, send suggestions in. There is a sweater that goes with it, and it is the coolest pattern. I used Lion Brand Mandala Magic Moon pop-up yarn, baby. So it's a 2, which is what it called for, is a 2 lace. And what I would say with this is use DPNs, because the close, I use circular needles and then I knit off onto DPNs, and it, the way you close this one on the top, you have to take your embroidery or darning needle and thread it, cut, thread, and then go through your loops and pull. And it leaves you at 24 stitches to go through, and it's just a little too much. So it ends up looking like the Pillsbury Doughboy on top when you close it off. So I'm just taking mine apart. This is, it's very simple, and I love it. For the beach. Now it looks funny here because the hole is here. But let's pretend that's not there. Let's pretend, right? And this gave me more of the Marley feel I was looking for. All right. And this is the wrong side of it. Now the reason I have it on the wrong side is because the right side got ruined. I didn't remember to do something, which I'm going to tell you what to do. If you do this one. Okay, so this is the right side. And you can see that by, you can actually see the brim better. And it's an old world, this is an old world Norwegian cast on, which is really cool for cuffs, brims, anything, tops of socks that you gotta stretch and don't lose their elasticity. It's so comfortable. And you just do 3. The ribbing is 2.5 to 3 inches brim of 3 purls, 2 knits. Okay, and then you're basically doing a little stockinette work all through here, and a little ridge work, and then a really cool lace that I gotta go look at it again, but I think it's like yarn over knit 2 together, and that's all you're doing. And it creates all this texture here. And then you're doing more ridge work. Well, the pop-up yarns or cake yarns block out in different colors at different times, you don't know when. So this one was called Magic Moon. It's got like a violet in it, purple, blue, gray, dark gray, light gray, white. So this is what I ended up with. And when you're knitting in the round, what you're knitting is coming out this way, and you're going around this way. You're just going around in one direction. When your color changes, you have to, let's say I'm knitting in the round, going around and around and around, or this way and that way. And then I slip stitch join and I keep going, right? And now my color is changing. It's starting to change. You have to flip this up, turn your needles around, and go in the other direction. Slip stitch join and then go in the other direction in order for that to be on the right side if you're working circular. I don't know what you would do if you're doing it DPN. I really don't. I was thinking about this a lot. I like both sides. It's really nice lace on both sides, but I think this side definitely looks better. But you end up with a floater with that new change of yarn right there. So you can see the white there. I mean, somebody probably wouldn't notice it and go, but I see it, I know it's there, so I'm ripping it out. And again, this is Straps Design. I think it's 107-5. But if you go under summer, oh my goodness, drops knitting design .com. Go under free patterns and then go to women's apparel, summer spring 2020. And there is a little cardigan that goes with this that's so it's like a beach cardigan. It's just like a beach the same thing. There's a little bit of ribbing around the cuff, and then it's just the same thing, stockinette and yarn over, knit two together, yarn over, knit two together. So all this is like through here in the bodice, and then the stockinette is through the sleeve, and then there's an area of the sleeve that's like fishnet lace again, and then or mesh, and then the cuffs are, oh, you got a little brim, and it just, the rest of it is stockinette, so it cuts off like right here, and then it goes out. So you could wear it over a bathing suit or whatever, you know, it's really just nice and light. So there is, and you'll see it in purple. It'll be kind of a violet. You can't really see this purple here. There you go. Isn't that lemon peel stitch so cute? Crochet with the star stitch. Yeah, I'm really loving these. And then these are the colors for the beret for the. So I'm doing a lot of blocking and washing today. But I thought I would come back and show you how to do the cast on for if you want to do this pattern. I'm on my 6th soft pink square now. 1, 2. So I am. This is what I meant. I wanted to say. When you get to the end of row 10 and you've finished your heart, it'll look like an upside down pyramid. But then when you do row 1, it will work into by the yarn overs, it will create the lace to make the eyelets. So don't rip it out like I did 50 million times and drive yourself crazy. That's just not good. So I'm going to go get situated a little here and wet my whistle with a little water. And I'll come back and I hope you'll join me. I'll do the crochet cast on. What you need is a knitting needle. I've got a 5.0. I'm probably going to demonstrate the cast on DPNs. I got a 9.5 5.0. I would say you could use a circular needle and knit flat back and forth, a 19-inch or 24 or 32. Doesn't matter. Just drop and turn and knit flat back and forth if you really want to see it develop it, or if you want to take this portable. If you want to sit outside, be portable, make sure you have either a little stitch stopper. These I got at Walmart for like 50 cents, package of 4. But you could use eraser tips. I used those for years, and you can use rubber bands. I use the produce rubber bands that come on your broccoli or your asparagus or your celery. Wash them, dry them, and use those. So, I mean, you could, but if you want to see your pattern developing, I would use the circular cable needle. I took mine portable outside and used DPNs and just knit back and forth because I don't like really long needles to work with or anything. totally up to you. Okay, so I'm going to go put things together and I'll be right back. I hope you join me and you're having a nice Saturday. Thank you. Bye.